What up, what up? I wanted to talk about being the strong friend today and how I am sick and tired of it, honestly. I have been labeled like the strong friend by a lot of my different friend groups throughout my life. The strong friend is, somebody who usually has their shit together, somebody who is good at giving advice, good at listening, and that's one of my qualities that I love about myself. I'm a really good listener, and a lot of people oftentimes feel inclined to share stuff with me, which I really appreciate. Strangers, people I've known for a long time, people who I'm just meeting, and I like it in general. I like that people feel comfortable around me and that they feel safe and they feel like I won't judge them and I'll just listen. However, I have also talked about on this channel Saturn return, and how Saturn comes when you're in your late 20s and early 30s to redirect you and have you examine the kinds of relationships and patterns that you fall into. And so for me, being the strong friend is it's canceled. That's done, that's over. It's not something that I'm going to do from this point forward. And the reason for that is because I feel as though when you label yourself the strong friend, when you take that cloak on, when people call you that and you feel good inside, and part of your self-esteem is wrapped up around being the strong friend, the one that everybody can rely on and has their shit together, it becomes really, really dangerous when you are in not so good of a place and you want to share that, and there's no room for you to share that because the relationships that you've had a hand in curating don't allow for you to ever be vulnerable, don't allow for you to be anything other than the strong friend. And I wanted to address patterns that we fall into, because in part it is the other person, but in part it's our responsibility too. We contributed to this relationship of where I'm always the listener, I'm always the one giving advice, I'm always. And I want to move forward and have healthy relationships where I feel like I can be vulnerable with intelligent people who give good advice and who are good listeners too. So a lot of times now what I'll do is I'll stop people, I'll cut people off when they are strangers and they're trying to share with me, and I will let them know I'm not feeling good today. So I'm sorry to hear that something just happened to you, but I don't feel good today. And I'm not really in the right mind space to really help you navigate your issues. And with strangers, this kind of works out just fine. But with people who you've had a relationship with for a long period of time, they will be upset because that is not the relationship that they agreed to be a part of, on where you are allowed to not always be in the space to hear whatever they have to say. A relationship where you get to unload, where you get to be vulnerable. That's not exactly what they signed up for. So there can be and probably will be some sort of discomfort with relationships that have lasted longer than just a stranger. But I say that it is necessary. It will definitely show you how the people in your life are either helping you to become the better version of yourself, which is a more honest version of yourself and a more vulnerable version of yourself, or the ways in which they are enabling you in being this strong friend. That shit is canceled. That shit is whack. That shit is over. It's done. I'm wiping my hands of it, honestly, because I'm not into it anymore, Something that I wanted to bring up too with being the strong friend, a lot of us tend to be really, really, really smart and really observant. And so part of why we don't share when we are going through what we're going through is because we don't trust that the people around us are all that logical or are all that good at giving advice. So a lot of times we won't share and open up because the people who we've surrounded ourselves with are oftentimes erratic, are oftentimes really bad at giving advice. So of course we're gonna hold back and not want to share when we have a dilemma, because the people that we have decided to put around us, a lot of them are really irresponsible. A lot of them are really immature. A lot of them are not go-getters or self-sufficient, or the list goes on. So that is something that I want to acknowledge too. Part of why a lot of strong friends don't confide in the people around them is because a lot of the people that they surrounded themselves with tend to be like their polar opposites. You know what I mean? A lot of us can be a bit judgmental, and we have to sort of like let that go and shape that and realize that to be vulnerable, to be human is like a beautiful thing, and you don't always have to be so composed and always so like tight and always appear to be together. And I'm really talking to myself right now because, yeah, I had Nigerian parents, and it's all about like how you look, how you appear to the rest of the world, regardless of if at home everything is like chaotic. As long as when you leave your house, everything looks great, you look put together, then everything is fine. And that is like, that's really dangerous. A lot of people are suffering in silence. A lot of your strong friends, they feel lonely. They feel like they don't have anyone that they can count on. They don't feel like people check on them enough, or in the right way, or in the right moment, you know? But this is also kind of like a call to action. Like, if you were a self-proclaimed strong friender, let that shit go, because that badge don't mean nothing, honestly. So that's my 2 cents. I'll see you here next week. Later. Peace.